Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope your day is going wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we are going to create a Christmas card. Spellbinders is actually having a Christmas sale, kind of having a Christmas in July special, and to celebrate they're having a huge sale. Check it out. But this stamp set is actually part of a brand new release called Be Merry. It probably looks a little bit familiar. It's called Holiday Gnomes. Spellbinders has it in a red rubber stamp, and they decided to put it in a smaller, slightly smaller, clear stamp, which I love. This is two of the gnomes in the stamp set. We're going to stamp on some alcohol marker friendly cardstock with alcohol marker friendly ink, and then we're going to color in these two cute little gnomes. Since it's Christmas in July, I thought we'd use some for the July colors. How about that? I'm going to play a little music while I color, and then when I'm done coloring, I will catch you back. Well, I almost timed it perfectly, maybe a couple more seconds. But there are my images. I'm going to go ahead and use my scissors and fussy cut them out. And as I fussy cut them out, I realized I didn't add my bell. I didn't color in my bells here, so I did it with a yellow Copic marker. But they are so cute. Kind of went with 4th of July colors with the blue and red, but I did throw in some green for good measure. Now we're going to work on our background. We're going to create a snowy hillside for these guys to sit on. I'm just going to freehand a hillside. I'm taking my scissors and creating an arch. It's kind of a wide arch. I'll end up trimming it to a 3.5 inch wide hillside. But before we do that, we're going to grab our Scallops embossing folder. We'll put our archway in here, and we're going to add a little texture to it. And then I trimmed it after I embossed it. Now I also have a piece of Glacier cardstock. This measures 5.5 inches tall by 3.5 inches wide. I'm going to use my pencil and trace around my hillside. This way we can stamp some Christmas trees on it. I'm going to go ahead and stamp with my Versamark ink pad. I did already treat my paper with my anti-static powder tool, but we're going to stamp the trees just again following along that pencil mark. Creating kind of like an archway of trees. And we'll stamp one here for good measure. And I have enough room on the left side to stamp that little corner. We're going to stamp that as well. Okay, I'm going to take my white embossing powder, go over my images, just scoop it up and place it on there. And I'll take my heat gun and we'll melt this embossing powder. It's a very soft background. I think it goes really good with our red and blue theme. Okay, I think this looks great. Next we're going to go ahead and take an eraser and erase our pencil mark. We don't want that on there. After we have our pencil mark erased, we're going to go ahead and stamp our sentiment. I have some Poppy Field cardstock. It's part of the Colors Essentials. cardstock, I'm going to take a Merry Christmas sentiment, place it kind of towards the top. Now the Merry Christmas does have a little bit of detail in it, but since I'm heat embossing, it's kind of going to go away. We're going to stamp with Versamark ink and then heat emboss with white embossing powder. I think the white Merry Christmas is going to go really good with our background. I want to grab my white embossing powder, scoop it over my sentiment, and we'll melt it. And I'm going to block this sentiment off as well. It's going to be a little bit longer. We'll end up trimming it in a little bit, so it's the 3.5 inch mark. But that's good to go. And I also stamped that little heart that's in the stamp set. I actually used candy apple distress oxide ink to stamp that. I think it was pretty close to Poppy Field. Now I'm going to take my panel, and I wanted to add a little darker blue just so it stands out a little bit more. This is Cosmic Sky. I just trimmed down 1/2 inch strips, and I'm putting it to the left and right of my panel. It's going to make it pop a little bit more. Since I'm putting it on white, I wanted this panel to stand out, and that's a good way to do it. We'll center this, and then I'm going to go ahead and place my Merry Christmas over my heel that we created. I want to center this, and then I'm just going to use my scissors and trim it on the left and then the right. I want to make sure that my Merry Christmas is smack dab in the center. We'll line it up and trim this piece, flip it around, and trim off the next piece. And it barely fits, so 3.5 inches is a good mark point. Okay, now we are going to flip over our heel side. I'm going to grab some foam adhesive. We're going to pop this up, and while I have this, I'm going to go ahead and add foam adhesive behind all of my elements. My gnomes, my Merry Christmas, and also that little heart. We'll add our hillside that has that embossed texture. We're going to go ahead and add our sentiment. We need a place for our little gnomes to stand on, and the sentiment is great for that. This is going to go about 1/2 inch from the bottom of our hillside. We'll add our tallest gnome first, just over the Merry. We'll go ahead and add our short little guy right next. They're buddies. After we had him, we're going to add our heart. I popped this up as well. We're going to put this in between the two of our white Christmas trees. Okay, now we're going to add some bells and whistles. I'm going to go ahead and take some white Nuvo drops, and these make great snowdrops. We're going to fill in our background with our Nuvo drops. This is going to give dimension and gloss and shine, and I'm doing all kinds of different sizes. And we're going to go in between the trees too. I keep my Nuvo drops in this little clear tray, which is pretty handy. After we have our snowdrops added, we're going to go ahead and add our gold stickles. We're going to shiny up our tallest gnome's bells on his hat there. And then I'm going to take my white gel pen and just highlight the noses of my gnomes. This is just going to give the illusion of dimension. But that's my project today, guys. Celebrate the brand new Be Merry release over at Spellbinders. And again, they're having a Christmas sale that's pretty huge. I encourage you guys to check it out. I'll list it down below. Have a fabulous day. Thanks for joining me, and we will see you again real soon. Bye-bye.